I join with some 25 national denominations and faith groups in supporting ENDA and a much larger cohort of national denominations and faith groups in favor of the use of the Title VII exemption in this context. Our belief in ENDA's importance stems from a core teaching shared by an array of faith traditions, Jewish and non-Jewish alike. In the words of Genesis, God created humans in God's own image. In the image of God, God created them. Male and female, God created them. We impose discrimination on all individuals, including gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, men and women, for the stamp of the divine is imprinted on the soul of each and every one of us. And we Jews have historical sensitivities raised by the effort to ban job discrimination, for we have been amongst the quintessential victims of group hatred, persecution, and discrimination in Western civilization. We know all too well the impact of discrimination and second-class citizenship, of what it is like to be denied opportunities others have for jobs or other benefits because of who we are. So we feel a keen empathy for those who can still be victimized because of who they are, deprived of opportunities, jobs, or advancement because of their identity. But we also believe that this legislation to be a wise and measured civil rights bill that addresses the scourge of employment discrimination and upholds the values on which our nation was founded, equality and justice chief among them. Indeed, the struggle for equality is a defining narrative of America. It is this vision, too, that compels us to support ENDA. ENDA is justice too long denied. It must be enacted, and it must be enacted now. It is clear that within our nation's diverse faith traditions, however, there are differing views about homosexuality. Every faith is entitled to its interpretation of its holy text. Every individual entitled to believe in a way of his or her own choosing. At the same time, the government is and should be free to enact legislation that protects values that differ from some of these beliefs. When that occurs, however, the government should also strive to protect the freedom of religious organizations with differing beliefs to practice their faith as they see fit. That is why Section 6 of ENDA, the exemption for religious organizations, is an essential part of this legislation. A bill that did not permit houses of worship, seminaries, religious schools, other religious organizations to be guided by the tenets and teachings that embody the essence of their faith would break with our country's long-standing tradition of religious freedom and pluralism and tolerance and provoke widespread opposition. ENDA simply ensures that workers will be judged and rewarded based on their qualifications and performances rather than on irrelevant and prejudicial factors. At the same time, it protects the right of religious organizations to make their own employment decisions in this sensitive area. Crafting the religious exemption to mirror that found in Title VII has three key advantages. First, consistency and reliability. Since '64, there's been a religious exemption in Title VII. Since '72, it contained the current language of the exemption. ENDA uses Title VII's scope of a covered religious organization so that if a religious organization is exempt from Title VII, so religious discrimination prohibitions, it will be exempt from ENDA's prohibitions. Since ENDA creates no new tests for determining which religious institutions are exempt from its provisions, instead adopts the long-standing exemptions of Title VII, it will greatly reduce litigation and reduce confusion amongst employers, employees, policymakers, and judges. Secondly, it enjoys broad-based support in religious communities. Not only those who support ENDA in general, but even many who do not support ENDA believe if you're going to pass this bill, this is the way to go. In 2007, the last time you voted on this, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, the Union of Orthodox Jewish Congregations issued a statement supporting this exemption. Although they did not take a position on ENDA, in their endorsement of the very language that you have before you, they wrote, they believe this language provides an indispensable protection of the free exercise rights of religious organizations and strongly support its inclusion in ENDA. I hope you will too. Leading evangelical figures, David Gushi, Ron Sider, Joel Hunter, have come out in favor of the use of this. In the 2005 Bush administration hiring guide. They talk at length of the effectiveness of this Title VII provision in protecting the rights of religious organizations. Over and over again, those who have had to live with it and work with it have said this is the way it goes. I hope it passes unanimously. Let me point out that those Title VII exemptions are available to religious broadcasters as well. And in 1998, the FCC moved from a very limited coverage for those who broadcasted religious messages per se to any religious broadcaster having employees who follow their mission and their beliefs. They were able to come under the same kind of regime as Title VII, and they have the same kind of protections. Even on the question of who is a religious organization, you have a great deal of commonality and agreement. So we know that a lot of the stories of what might be the abuses simply aren't so. This coverage is needed. It is universally supported. 402 members, including a minority and majority leader of this committee, supported this. The minority and majority leader of the House supported this the last time it was voted on. Vote for it again. It is the right way to go to end discrimination and protect religious freedom.